I was a teenage exocolonist, or so it says in this game. We're gonna start. We're gonna try it out for an hour. Time to wake up. This game deals with mature subjects. Will it be suitable for you? It's not suitable for all players. I wake to chaos, a confusion of light and heat and smoke. Fire! My head is pounding. I must have hit it and blacked out, but I'm not sure how I got here, or what on Vertumna is happening. There is something important I need to remember. My stomach lurches. The floor crumbles beneath my feet, then collapses. My body aches and my eyes burn from the smoke. A figure appears through the flames. It's my friend. My friend? Why can't I remember her name? She's gesturing and shouting at me, but all I can hear is ringing in my ears. What's going on around here? I try to speak, but the words come out jumbled. My throat seizes around a lungful of choking smoke. I feel dizzy and confused. I mean, that's just normal. My friend pulls me out of the rubble. She throws my arm over her shoulder and half drags me towards the door. Through it, I see a deep, eerie twilight, dark blue and cold against the heat of the fire around me. Oh, it's glow season. Glowing eyes? I shake my head to clear my vision. Is that some kind of dog? Like from Earth? The creature howls and lunges, its jaws open. He's just friendly. He doesn't know his own strength. It's just how he says hi to people. And that's the end of my story. I'll never find out what caused that explosion, what caused that fire, or who my friend was. I was born on the Stratospheric, Earth's first colony ship, halfway through its 20-year voyage to a wormhole at the edge of the Sol system. My parents run the hydroponic gardens which make fresh air and vegetables for the ship. Like the other colonists, they bravely chose to make this one-way journey to the uncharted planet Vertumna 4 in the hope that they could escape Earth's troubles. You know the ones. They had you the old-fashioned way, merging their genes like they merged their cultures and traditions. They named me... Well, it's suggesting Solanaceae. I don't know. Do I feel like a Solanaceae? Solanaceae, Bolanaceae. Why would they name me that? I don't know. I'm a bright-eyed child with an active imagination. Sometimes too active, my mom says. Okay, sliders on the left for pronouns. You can go either way on that. And then here's the gender. We all know about the gender slider. You know, why don't we be a filthy centrist? Right in the middle, just like all things should be. I have vivid dreams of things I've never experienced. Dirt under my feet, skies overhead, endless jungles and strange animals. I wonder if this will be what Vertumna will be like. Every child on the Stratospheric is given one genetic enhancement. By age 6, I see the first sign of mine. Eagle eyes, extra fingers, absorbent brain, super strength, calm temperament. Look, I have this one. This is not a superpower. All right? This one here that's no superpower. I'm going to tell you that. Nothing at all. I think we could do some real fun, creepy stuff with extra fingers. I've heard long ago that having a 6th finger would have been something we'd hide or even remove, but Antecedent says some of the best musicians on Earth have the gene for extra fingers. Just like me. I get +1 skill on... what does that say? Well, +1 to skill reward at the end of social, yellow, challenge, but only if I win. I'm very good at making crafts, which I do with my friend, Energetic and loyal anemone. Tough and gentle Cal. Bold and confident Mars. Quiet and adventurous Dis. Student and mature Tangent. Shy and sweet Tammy. Who is my friend? Let's see. Who would go well with I feel like my friend is probably someone who I'm going to be going on adventures with. Who do I need on adventures? Maybe bold and confident Mars. Maybe. Actually, Dis is adventurous. It says it right there. Adventurous is right in that specific thing. So let's go with quiet and adventurous Dis. Unlike his studious twin sister Tangent, Dis sits at the back of the classrooms and doodles on his hollow palm. We bond while cracking jokes about the weird diagrams in my textbook. His quiet nature and his morbid curiosity make him somewhat of a loner, but at least he has a friend in me. Let's see, Dis is secret, +2 if in the first or last... I'm assuming I will understand what these things mean within the hour. I'm 10 years old when the ship reaches the wormhole. Professor Hal says it's like a doorway to other star systems with the planet Vertumna 4 on the other side. We run emergency drills for months to prepare. When the day finally comes, it starts with a rumble and things start to slide off the tables. I hurry to gather near the escape pods, just in case. The emergency area is crowded with families. It's gonna be fine, Solanacia Bolanacia, your dad soothes. And we'll be through the wormhole and down on the planet before you know it, just like we practiced. Our mom gives him a sharp, worried look. Red emergency lights switch on as a siren begins to sound somewhere distant in the ship. I try to breathe slowly like I was taught. But I'm very scared. I look out a porthole. The stars are gone. When I'm frightened, I think of a game to play. I start a game of Rambutan with some of my classmates. I pick the topic, types of fruit. Cal thinks about it. I could name 10 kinds of fruit, he says. This is a distraction. Maybe I could name 11, Dis mumbles, and enemy confidently counters with 12. Back to Cal, he thinks again. I could name 20. The others shrug, and an enemy tells them to go ahead. Apple, orange, banana. Cal starts, and tomatoes are fruit, and cucumbers, and corn. The game immediately erupts into an argument of semantics, as many games of Rambutan do. I wait. The shaking builds. Everything starts to get very weird. The hallway stretches, and I'm stretching too, my arms impossibly long. My head feels like it's slowly filling up like a balloon and contracting down to the size of an atom at the same time. Is this the wormhole? I hear the distant ominous squeal of metal giving way as the ship shudders and lurches in slow motion. The weirdest part is a sense of deja vu. I'm sure this has happened to me before, and I know, somehow, that everything is gonna be okay. The shuddering reaches a crescendo. I hear an impossibly loud crunch and feel weightless for a few seconds before gravity slams me back against the wall. Head first, I black out. As I slip unconscious, I feel myself twisted out of time. It's today, yesterday, and tomorrow all at once. And more than just one tomorrow. Lots of them. Different tomorrows. I wake up in a strange hedge maze. I have to find my way to the center, though I do not know why. I find my way to the center, and I find my wife. How is this my wife? I'm not married. I'm 10. But she says that she is not my wife. I ask, where is this place? And she says, who is this place? And I don't know what that means. She tells me that if I find her again, she'll give me another clue. I wake up. I can hear the ship shaking has stopped, and I hear my parents' worried voices. Feeling safe, I slip further into the warm embrace of the stars. I drift. Gradually, my consciousness reforms. I wake up in the medbay. The medbay under me plays a soft tone, and an automated voice speaks.
2 weeks have elapsed. The patient's cranial injury has completed healing. They may now be safely discharged.
The fog lifts from my head. I realize something seems different about this room. It's so bright. I try to focus on the window. Something is definitely different. Sunlight? Trees? Ground? Instead of the familiar blackness of space, bright light from twin blue and yellow suns is streaming through the windows. I peer out and see fields, glass-walled domes, and walls ringed by giant mushroom-like trees. There are construction materials everywhere, and people walking around, outside, on the ground. I better get out there and join them. I'll rush outside to start my new life. Rush into the loading screen. Oh, gameplay. Okay, I can move. Oh, Tammy jumps as I step out of the ship's quarters behind her. You awake? Is you all better? You better go see your dad. She points southeast towards some geodesic domes. To walk, click on the ground. I can also click on characters to talk to them. Alright, I can do that, or I can use Wasta to walk directly. Tammy looks concerned. You slept for so long after you bumped your head, she says. I bet your parents were worried. Your dad is working over in geoponics, near those domes. They're called greenhouses. I would go with yous, but, well, this is as far as I've been from the ship since we's landed. Tammy stammers, blushing. It's scary outside. It's frightening. Very, very scary. All right. Built this wall already. Here's Dad. Soul in the sea, bull in the sea. Your dad gives you a warm hug. I'm happy you're finally awake. Dr. Instance thought it'd be best to keep you asleep while your noggin healed. Your mother and I thought you might sleep away the whole year, my snoozy little gooseberry. He checks your head and looks relieved. He was clearly very worried about you, but covers it with jokes and smiles. Oh, he's so embarrassing. Welcome to Vertumna, he says, gesturing around you. You've never seen the stratospheric from the outside, except in pictures. The ship has been separated in two, and parts taken off to form other buildings and a big wall around the whole colony. The alien jungle creeps up right to the wall. Only the geodesic greenhouses pass outside it, dotting their way up the hill. Well, let's be practical about this. What's outside the walls, Dad? Oh, don't worry about that, my dear aubergine, he says. Nothing that could hurt you. We just don't want you getting lost in the big, big world out there. And before I forget, he pulls a package out from his satchel and hands it to you. You blink and stare at it blankly. Don't you know what days it is? He asks. You honestly don't. You remind him that you've been asleep in medbay. Happy birthday! Oh, hold on. Happy birthday! You have to do that properly. He shouts, wrapping you in a warm hug. Your birthday? Already? You feel a dizzying sense of deja vu. And then you feel deja vu about having felt deja vu. You stare hard at the wrap package. You know exactly what's in there. You remember it. No, you dreamed about this package some years ago on the ship. Inside will be a small medallion in the shape of a sun that your dad made by hand. Well, let's impress our dad with our future sight. We know what's in that, Dad. You describe the medallion, and your dad tisks as he hands you the package. Aw, who ruined the surprise? Was it Seek? I bet it was Seek. They hate fun. He grins and adds, don't tell them I said that. This adds +1 to challenges. I start to explain that nobody told me, but somebody shouts my dad's name. Listen, I'm so sorry, soul in the sea, bull in the sea, he says. But I have to get back to work. There's an accident when he's landed, and he stops himself. Hey, don't worry. We's gonna fix it, your mothers and I. Professor Hal is expecting you in classes if you're feeling up to it, your dad says, pointing west to the engineering wing in the rear end of the bisected ship. Then he points to the large doors you came out earlier. Or you can relax in our quarters until you're feeling better. We'll talk later tonight, he says, then kisses the top of your head and ruffles your hair. Have a wonderful birthday, Solanacia Bolanacia. I love yous. We unlocked humanities and engineering. We give him a thumbs up. Okay, I can enter buildings by clicking on the door, or get close and press enter. Choose an activity to gain skills. 13 months a year, 10 years to the end of the game. Can't focus on everything. The greenhouses are different biomes inside, growing plants from Earth that might belong in a desert, jungle, or temperate forest. Some are so delicate you have to spray off any joins in an airlock before you can enter. The seasonal garden outside is dotted with blue nobodies, little flowers with what look like wriggling creatures stuck inside each one. A sign explains it's a decoy, meant to attract some kind of flying predator to come pollinate the flower. Command is a warren of long hallways with doors off to tiny, nondescript offices. Everyone I pass seems to be hurrying off to something important. The end of one hallway opens into the supply depot, which works as both requisitions office and general store. Beyond it are cavernous warehouses stacked high with supplies from Earth, now being gradually unpacked and distributed. What does the notice board have to say? Let's see. Colony food shortfall, negative 100%, low. Colony security rating, evaluating. Upcoming event, hosting the first annual Vertumna festival during the second month of dust. Notice, take precautions outside the colony boundaries. Xenofauna have been sighted in the area. Survey teams are investigating, says Tonin. Governor Udicott command. All right, here's our admin people. I see Dis sitting on the ground beside some bushes. Is he hiding from someone? He seems to be watching the gate in the wall to the south, where grown-ups are coming and going. Kids aren't allowed past the walls, he says quietly, without looking up. They say there's nothing to be afraid of. But then, why do we need walls? I stare at the gate, and have a sudden rush of memory so strong, I think I might faint. I imagine something crashing through the wall. Something enormous and dark and wriggly. For years in space, I've had half-remembered nightmares of monsters, of your ship being destroyed, of sifting through wreckage that used to be your home, trying to find something. My dad always told me the dreams weren't real. Breaking from my daydream, Dis whispers, I think there are monsters out there. Yeah, we believe you, Dis. No, you don't. He says, you're being sarcastic. I can tell. Nobody believes me. Turns my back. No, they're huge, and they're wriggly, and they're dangerous. Stop making fun of me, Dis pouts. You're as bad as Mars. I think our social link, -2 friendship with Dis. Dis is so used to people pushing him away, he doesn't know what it means to make a connection. He's unable to recognize when someone is actually trying to make a real connection with him because he's never had that before. He doesn't know what it looks like or what it sounds like. So he assumes the worst, because most of the time he'll be right. Hiya, Solanacia Bolanacia? An enemy seems really at home here. She's rolling a sports ball around with her foot, making patterns in the weird blue snow. This stuff is different from snow on Earth, she tells you, 'cause it isn't cold. But it's still neat, and you can make stuff out of it. My foggy head clears a little. An enemy is simple, physical, real. I always feel grounded near her. Have you seen any monsters? Nope, just some bugs. The grown-ups would say if they're monsters, right? She shrugs and smiles reassuringly. Even if there were monsters, Chief Ret would beat them all up, so don't worry. My mom says we're safer here than we were in space. Well, that's true, Anemone. Space is an extremely inhospitable environment. It wants to kill you at all times, and every resource we have and every piece of intelligence we know go towards preventing the infinite from killing us in its uncaring void. So, yes, that is correct. What are you making? Just snow spirals, she says. But earlier, me and Cal made a big snow pal. You missed it while you're sleeping in medbay. She smiles her broad, gap-toothed smile at you. Now that you're awake, we can play. But why aren't you in school? She smacks her forehead. School? I wondered where everybody was. I guess I'm gonna be late for humanities class. She doesn't look very worried to you. It's okay, she says. Professor Hal is chill. He won't mind, but we should probably go now. She grins and starts running towards engineering. Hey, race ya! No fair. She's getting a head start. She's not actually going anywhere. This is engineering. A low throbbing noise comes from the engine room, which provides power to the colony. Other corridors lead off to the teaching labs and medbay. I know the route to this classroom well, but the rest of the wing is off limits to children. Congruence, that's a pretty good name, the ship's onboard AI, beams down at me from a nearby hollow screen.
Don't forget to study hard.
Pick an activity to do this month. Let me study. Okay, this is +2 biology, +1 reasoning, +15 stress. Humanities is +2 creativity, +2 persuasion, +15 stress. Okay, let's go with humanities.
Welcome, Solanacia.
Professor Hal greets you.
I hope you're all warmed up and ready to study the glorious humanities. Some history, literature, language, media, and philosophy. And yes, if you's lucky, we have a little ancient earth poetry too.
Seems excited about that last bit.
By the way, if anyone is interested in taking engineering classes, please register through Congruence's scheduling system when you have a chance. She'll be helping me teach them. Today's assignment is an easy one,
Hal says with a yawn.
I was up late repairing Congruence's subterminal, and I could use a nap. I'd like for you to write an essay on what the Vertumna colony means to you.
We're just gonna doodle. True to his word, Hal leans back in his chair and begins to snore. I doubt he'll bother reading this assignment, so I just practice drawing made-up animals on my hollow palm instead. When Hal wakes from his nap, he asks a few students to read their essays to the class. You're docked a few kudos when he discovers we didn't bother to do the assignment. He thinks my animals are pretty cool, though. Studying humanity. Okay, when I work or go to class, I play a quick card challenge as the month passes. I move cards to fill the 5 panes and make the best hand that I can. Yes, order matters. If my total in the circle on the right reaches the goal value, I win. Depending on the cards, some challenges can't be won, but I still get a reward for doing my best. Bonus for flushes, same color together, so 3, 1. Bonus for pairs, same number together, 1, 3. Bonus for straights, increasing from left to right. The more cards in a flush, pair, or straight, the higher the bonus added to my total. Cards can also affect each other. So this is like they're including sort of like a light poker in the, I don't know, I guess. Okay. I don't have many cards. I mean, those are 3 zeros. These are 2 ones. All right, I was able to reach the goal. We did it. I worked well this month, +1 to creativity. My skills increase when I work or go to school, with extra skills if I win the challenge, and a kudos bonus if I make the highest scoring hand with my cards. Working also increases stress, which prevents me from working if it reaches 100. To relieve stress, take a month, an entire month, off to relax in the quarters wing. My parents have been working from first dawn to well after dinner every day. I know growing food is an important job, and it's vital to get crops in the ground right away. But there seems to be something more than that. It's such a change from growing up on the stratospheric, when I saw them all the time. I stay up and wait for them at night before going to bed. Though I can tell they're exhausted, they make an effort to spend time with me. I'm sorry we haven't seen much of yez, little gooseberry, my dad says. My mom watches me as she works a pebble out of her gardening tiller, which also serves as a crutch. How have you been holding up? Well, I did learn some stuff in school. I'm glad to hear that, my mom says. I want you to study hard, work hard, and stay out of trouble. Are we a troublemaker? I don't know. I guess that's our decision to make. My dad smiles. And Professor Hal will give you kudos if you get good grades. You can spend those at the depot once it's open. Wow, the kudos are literal currency? You know, says your dad, raising an eyebrow at your mom, I think there are lots of different ways to learn, and school is just one of them. You can learn from working on a hobby or by helping a friend. Our mom shakes her head and sighs, though you can tell she's trying to put on a gentle expression. We both agree that this colony is an experiment, and that means we're gonna do things differently than on Earth. You're old enough now to start making your own decisions about your education and future. And if that means you find your own way, we'll accept that. Well, I mean, that's good. I mean, we're on a new planet. We don't have to do things the old way. You know, we're not with the rest of humanity anymore. We're away from them. We can forge a new, better way. It doesn't just have to be a replication of how things used to be. Our dad puts her hand on our shoulder, and we'll be proud of yous no matter what you do. Try talking to your friends. They may have ideas for how you can spend your time. And come by geoponics, our mom adds. We could use your help. We unlocked shoveling dirt in geoponics. Could shovel some dirt early, quiet. Next month, mid-quiet. Next month. H10. All right, time has passed. An enemy is bumping a sports ball with her wrists, trying to keep it in the air. Heads up! She shouts and bumps the ball in your direction. Think fast. Look out! The ball is flying towards you. Ah! I flinch and jump out of the sports ball's way as it careens past my head. Whoa! That was close. An enemy doubles over laughing. Nice save, Solanacia, Bolanacia. She giggles, jogging over to pick up the ball. Ha! Not. Want me to show you how to do it? Fine. I bounce the ball back and forth with her, trying to see how many times I can rally and keep it going. An enemy tells me about the new sports ball court, a proper regulation-sized court, way bigger than the little 0G one on the stratospheric. Her brother Com is coaching the junior sports ball team this year. I like how there was apparently one sport and only one sport, because why else would it be called sports ball? If you're calling it sports ball, that means it's the sport. There are no others. We just have the one. He's so great, she says. He's good at everything, especially spiking. He's coaching me to play awesome like him. You should come join us. I unlock sports ball in the garrison. So many options on how we can spend our time, but our time is limited. Well, Dis isn't here. Here's Dad. "Hello, my little potato," my dad exclaims, smiling warmly. "What have you been up to today?" "Just hanging with my friends." That cow's a good boy," he says. "And have you seen an enemy?" She's out by the garrison playing sports ball. I think she spent every day outside since we landed." He chuckles to himself. "Guess that's what happens when you got enough brothers to make your own sports ball team." He breathes deeply and looks slowly around. Vertumna's magnificent, ain't it?" We nod. "Seasons!" he shouts, throwing his hands wide. "I missed seasons." Seasons are unknown to us. They're foreign. We don't know what that is. We only know the spaceship. Back on Earth, it got much, much colder. And the snow wasn't half as pretty as our Spock snow. He sighs, stretching. You just wait until dust season. Both the suns will be high in the sky, and it'll be real hot then. You'll see. What are these seasons you're talking about, Dad? You're saying it's cold one day and hot the next? That doesn't make sense. I grew up in a climate-controlled environment. Every day is the same temperature. We find our mom hard at work, setting up the greenhouses with a small construction crew. I've seen these plans pinned to the wall of my family's quarters for years now. These geodesic domes will house more delicate plants from Earth. Spinach, tomatoes, maybe even fruit. She takes a swig from her canteen as we approach. Go.
Looking for something to do? She asks. Remember, Solanacia, Bolanacia, you're responsible for your own schedule now that we've landed. You can decide how to spend your time, so long as it's productive.
She points towards the engineering wing, in the back half of the stratospheric's severed frame.
Professor Hal's still expecting you in class, but a well-rounded education includes practical application. You're old enough to help with the work around here.
She claps her hand on your shoulder.
I got another minute. Anything you need to know?
Can I join the expeditions? I want to go outside.
Oh, you're too young to leave the colony. It's dangerous.
She shakes her head.
Your father would be worried. There's so much we still don't know about the world out there. Let the adults find out. Then maybe you can join them in a few years when you're older.
She gives you a stern look. She's not going to budge on this.
For now, stay inside the walls.
All right. What's going on in command?
I think Seek said they need someone to deliver supplies from the depot. They're also setting up a shop in there if you got some kudos to spend. And, of course, that's where Captain Governor Udicott works, but you shouldn't bother her. She's a busy woman, and she doesn't have your mother's patience with kids.
We try not to giggle. Our mom is not usually known for her patience. So, is governor an elected position? Like, captain isn't. There's a reason for that, but, don't need a captain anymore. We're not on a ship. Did the captain just automatically become the governor, or did we elect the governor? How does that work, Mom? What's in the garrison?
Security Chief Rhett is organizing a sports ball team. You used to play, didn't you? Back on the ship. It'll be different here with the planet's gravity.
Of all the adults in the colony, Rhett and your mom are the most like soldiers you'd see on a holovid. For a moment, you think your mom's going to suggest something else. Then she shakes her head.
You're too young for defense training, so don't worry about that yet. Just enjoy yourself and stay out of trouble.
All right, no guns for us. No combat training. What can I do in the quarters?
If you need a break, she advises, you can visit the lounge and see your friends. But, she warns, raising a finger, I don't want to see you lounging around all the time. You need to work hard, too.
What's happening in engineering?
Hal's teaching classes on life science, engineering, and humanities. If you pass all your tests, maybe he'll let you work there in a few years. Your father thinks you're old enough that the school is optional. I don't agree, but I'll be honest with you, she says, gesturing to the fields. We do need every pair of hands we can get. If you want to work with me here in geoponics, I suggest studying life science. If you don't have a good grasp of biology and ecology, I'm going to stick you on shovel duty.
Oh, we took humanities. We did not take life science. What are you doing in geoponics? She looks down and nudges at a sprout growing between her feet. It's green, the color of earth plants.
We're doing our best, she says, but it hasn't been easy. I just hope the potatoes and the corn can handle the weather here, she says, glancing up at the sky. I hear it rains like hell in the wet season.
She takes a long look at you, up and down.
You're growing fast, Solanacia, Bulanacia, but you're still too young for real farming. Instead, well, there's a lot of soil that needs to be hauled.
Seeing your disappointment, she nudges you on the shoulder.
Don't pout. It'll help build those muscles. You need them now that you're out in the real world, doing real work. Out here, we have to rely on our physical strength.
She flexes her biceps. She then kisses her biceps too, and it seems unnecessary, Ma. I could see that. I could see that you're ripped. Your mom is really strong. Hopefully we can build up some friendship points with our good friend. This looks at his feet and pretends not to notice us. I cannot dare him to eat the worm. I'm not brave enough. Oh. It's our good friend. We can't even talk to Dis because I'm not brave enough to dare him to eat a worm. Living quarters. Let's see. Ship's quarters where everyone sleeps. Relax in the lounge. We probably shouldn't relax all month. Not yet. A sharp whistle interrupts your thoughts.
Hey, Solanacia, Bulanacia, Mars calls out to you. Come here. I have a job for you.
I walk over to Mars, who's sheltering from the snow under the ship's overhang.
It's so gross here, she complains. This spark snow would ruin my good clothes. At least on the ship we had climate control. Ugh! Tammy made me some soy sweets, but there's no way I'm going out here in all this weather, she continues. Since you like running around in it, could you fetch them for me?
You could probably get them yourself. Mars huffs and rolls her eyes.
Oh, I don't even know why I asked. If you ever want to actually be useful, go talk to Administrator Seek, she says, gesturing to the door to command behind her. They're looking for people to work delivery, and I'm just like, no? I'm way too busy. Too busy fetching my own soy sweets.
All right, let's look at the note. I can't apply. Okay, I need toughness 10 or greater, need organizing 10 or greater. I can't do anything. I need to find something I can actually do. I'm not qualified for nothing. I can shovel dirt, build my muscles. I get toughness, kudos, and stress. It's my first day in the glorious world of agricultural soil conveyance. Oh boy.
Good morning, Solanacia, Bulanacia. Looks like you're working for your old lady. I hope you don't expect me to go easy on you just because you're my kid.
She walks me around the geoponics wing and points out where everything is. My job is to move sod, compost, plants, garden waste, and equipment from one place to another.
Get comfortable with this,
she says, pushing a squeaky, old-fashioned wheelbarrow towards her. I could at least oil the squeaky wheel, Mom.
Now, any questions before you start moving that doit?
Don't we have machines for this?
The construction crews already claimed all the hover lifts, she says, shrugging. But they'll break down in a few years anyway, and we don't have the materials to fix them.
She grips your forearm.
We're planet-side now. Use your muscles. Nature's hydraulic pistons.
Where do I move it again?
From over there,
she points to a dirt pile,
to there.
She points to an identical pile. 10 meters away. She sees my confusion.
We've had some very precious soil from Oith on the ship, full of all the nutrients and bugs and bacterias. Our plants need to grow, but it was lost, she sighs, in an accident. Now we have to make more from scratch using Vertumna soil. This is part of the process.
How did we lose the dirt? I'd be curious to know about the great dirt accident. Why not use hydroponics?
On the ship, we grew most of our plants with their roots in the water, and it's true, it was more hygienic that way,
our mom replies. She brushes an insect off her arm, which lets out a loud squeak of objection.
But hydroponic systems use too much energy. Here, we have to grow as much as we can, the old-fashioned way. That's my kid,
my mom says, slapping me on the back. I stumble a little because Mom is very strong. My arms start to ache after the first half hour of work. I keep going, and I wonder, what is this? Is this what it feels like to exercise? My body is telling me that it's dying. Why would things work this way? I thought exercise was good for me, but I feel like I'm breaking apart. I don't understand. That seems counterproductive, Mom. By the end of the month, I feel utterly drained and exhausted. And good somehow. I can feel my muscles growing already. All right, time for poker. All right, well, 0, 0, 0. Get a little bonus there. We also can get 2 of a kind. And we win. I work well this month. This week, I had more bouts of deja vu. Remembering what someone is about to say or do just before they do it. Sometimes they actually do it, but not always. This morning, I was sure Professor Howell was going to trip on the uneven floor in the cafeteria and spill his plate of hash browns. You even told Mars to watch. He didn't, though. As Professor Howell walked away, his hash browns safe for today, Mars called you a liar and a dummy. At night, my dreams are all mixed up with stuff I know can't be real. I'm chased by monsters the size of buildings, only to be saved by strange people I've never met. I'm holding hands with someone I love. I'm crying as I help lift a shrouded body into the colony recycler. Everything seems so familiar, but when I try to recall their faces when I wake up, they're smeared in my memory like wet paint. But what if? What if those things haven't happened yet? But they will someday. Anytime I try to tell someone, they think I'm playing a trick or that I'm sick and need to go to med bay. I eventually decide to stay quiet about my strange dreams. Why? Because secret powers are fun. I start keeping a private journal on my holopalm, recording the events where I remember something before it happens. I also write down my dreams when they have that feeling of being real. I like the idea of being magic and seeing the future, but some of those dreams are very scary. I hope that, like Professor Howell's hash browns, they don't all come true. And we're going from mid-quiet to late quiet. We're still 10 years old. Cal is riding around the geoponics gardens on his hoverboard. The board comes to a sudden shuddering stop on the rocky ground in front of us. Cal falls off but catches his balance before he eats dirt.
Yeah. So Nasia, Nasia. Real ground is way harder to hover on than ship floors. There are bumps everywhere.
Well, we all have to adapt.
Yeah, Cal exclaims. Things are actually way, way better planet-side. Hovering outside is rad. Look at this.
He runs over to a small depression in a nearby hill and presents it like it's something amazing.
Look at this. It's a skateboard.
A what now?
Like it's all round and the sides go up.
Cal gestures to the ball.
So you can do hover tricks.
He jumps on his board and shows you how it's done. Can I try?
Sure, but be careful. Mom says if I break my hoverboard, we can't make another one.
So I take turns riding around the bowl, trying to get up enough speed, going down one side to come up the other. I don't land any tricks. It's hard just staying on the board with this uneven ground. But it's still fun. I need a break. Okay, yeah. Look how much stress I have. Look how it's nearly at the frowny face. Rebellion is about halfway. I have not been using my creativity. I've not been using that much. Not much at all. Well, maybe it's time for us to take our entire month off. Oh, hey, this is open. I step cautiously through the colony gates. Hey there, kiddo! Uncle Tonin blocks your way with a smile. I'm afraid expeditions is off limits for now. It's not safe out there for kids. You better toughen up so you can join the squads when you're older. Well, we can't go out, but I think we probably knew that. The bestiary. Like the float cow. No picture. There's the hop eye. There's the manticore. The body is composed almost entirely of dangerous weapons. Well, we can't actually see any of these things, it seems, at the moment. Okay, we still cannot dare him to eat a worm. I'm not brave enough to do it. Man, how is this my best friend if I have so little in common that the only thing I can think to say is I dare you to eat a worm? I'm talking to an enemy much more. Hi, Solanacia Bolanacia. She huffs, catching her breath. She grins. On this ship, adults are always saying, no running, anemone, no running. But outside, there's so much more room. I can run for 5 minutes in one direction, even more, after the roboplows clear the lands for farms. I cannot train together. I'm not tough enough. My toughness is 7. Not nearly tough enough. Tangent is hunched over her hollow palm, frowning and poking angrily at the air. She speaks without looking up at you. Professor Hal wants us to prep a list of native flora with pictures. There should be a catalog on the colony holonet, but I can't find it anywhere. Plants, have you tried looking outside? She looks down and up and squints her eyes at you. Was that a joke? Well, it's not funny. Solanacia Bolanacia. I need to finish this bio assignment so I can start on the engineering lab after lunch. And then I have a physics quiz to study for. She rolls her eyes. If you won't help, go kick a ball or something with the other kids. As I inch away, Tangent has already forgotten about me and is back to her hollow palm. She is not impressed with us. I see Tammy sitting quietly near the entrance to the lounge. I've known Tammy for, well, my entire life, really. Back on the ship, we used to play together. Tammy had the best doll connection. After her mom died, her dad used all his nanoprinter creds to print her a different doll every month for a whole year. Her ears perk up when she sees me. Oh, hello, Solanacia Bolanacia, she says. Her voice is soft and dreamy like a beam of starlight. Do you want to play dolls? I sure do. You don't think Tammy will ever be too old to play with dolls? If anything, she has even more of them now. She takes you to her quarters and brings out the entire Spacey Stacy doll collection, a disturbingly realistic baby with real bowel movements, and 2 super fancy posable dolls named Lily and Tilly, who can be programmed to move on their own. Tammy isn't very good at the programming, so Lily and Tilly just roll around awkwardly when you turn them on. And hopefully I hope she doesn't load up the realistic baby. You can just leave that empty, thank you. You can cover quickly by saying they must be breakdancing at a club. The 2 of you spend the afternoon making up stories of their rise to stardom as professional dancers. Oh, hi, Solanacia Bolanacia. Marzipan looks bored. My dad's made me come out to get some fresh air. Don't know what's so fresh about it. It's always full of acid snow or pollen or water? No, I don't know which is worse. I do not have enough persuasion. I have, like, no persuasion. I have 2. My persuasion is 2. I do not have enough. This is command. Right. Can't do anything there. Right, nothing up around there. This is engineering. Let's see. Life sciences or humanities. Ooh, I get +1 friendship with tangent if I take life science. Also life science. Oh, also humanities. Same thing. But also +15 stress. I only have 10 before I max out my stress. Well, I guess the responsible thing to do would be to take an entire month off. Can't think of anything else to do. Relax in the lounge. +1 friend. Oh, I get friendship with Tammy if I do this. -100 stress. Forget 1 memory. Optional. It's nice to take some time off to chill. After all the stress of school and work. Not to mention the mental toll of living on this unpredictable planet. Look like I'm not the only one who needs some downtime. Some of the other kids are also relaxing in the lounge. I could approach Mars and Dis, or Cal and Tammy, or sit alone with my holopalm. Why is there an icon next to it? Hooked on my holopalm. It's a card. Why would I get a card for doing that? I mean, that's the realistic option. I guess I should try to talk to people. Let's talk to Mars and Dis. Okay, but you do stink. You hear Mars defend herself. It's not my fault you can't tell. Maybe your nose stopped working, but the rest of us can smell it, and... She waves her hands in front of her nose and makes a PU gesture, then turns to you. It smells awful, right, Solanacia Balanacia? What's this yellow one here? Oh, we're being a bully if we says that this needs a shower. Do we stop being so mean? This whole planet smells awful anyway. I mean, let's just tell Mars to back off maybe a little bit. You know, this is not the way, maybe not the most sensitive way to tell someone that they stink. I stand toe-to-toe with Mars. She glares at me, then at Dis. Ugh, fine, she says, defeated. I'm sorry, Dis. I'm just trying to help. But I should have said it in a nicer way. Not everyone in life is going to tell you the truth, you know. Well, I mean, I guess that's true, but does he stink? I mean, maybe we should figure it out. Maybe we could teach Dis how to bathe. Like, I don't know. Was this just a Mars problem, or is this something we need to address? Do I want to freak discovering, or what? No, not really. I mean, I guess I could forget a card, but I don't think I'm at the point where I want to remove cards. Early pollen. That's a bad name for a season. Well, we're starting the next season, and we're almost just about at an hour, so I guess that's just about enough for our tryout of I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. We're not actually a teenager yet, though. You've heard of Vertumna, right? Mars asks you. You know, the festival we're holding in dust season? I've already got my routine ready for the talent show. She flips her hair over her shoulder and laughs. Oh, if you have a hope of competing against me, you're going to need to get creative. I cannot tell her about my day. All right. Well, there's an egg. I find a hefty egg. It looks like a Yoshi's going to come out of it. All right, does this actually stink? Let's sit down with this. He shifts uncomfortably as we sit, but doesn't say anything. You both hang out, saying and doing. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just say and do nothing. We stare at the big gates. The grass in the colony is trimmed short by garden bots, but out there it's wild and as high as my waist. Head surveyor Tonin is prepping his equipment for an outing. He's bringing a lot. Maybe he's going to stay out overnight. You're starting to wonder if Dis will ever acknowledge you when he says, I've got to go. He starts down the hill. He pauses and says, this is a good spot. I'll probably come back here tomorrow. We had like a little bonding session. All right, so that's probably enough for... I was a teenage exocolonist, even though we're not a teenager as of yet. Bolanicea is hanging out in the colony, trying to, just figure out what sort of person do they want to be. Do they want to build big muscles? Or do they want to be creative? Or do they want to go into the sciences? Or do they just want to sleep all the time? But that is our first hour. I didn't really know what kind of game this was. But, I mean, clearly it's like a visual novel with options on how you want to build your character. And the stats that you have is going to affect the choices you're able to make, and I would assume affect the path that you can go down, and probably the ending that you can get. And also, there seems like there's probably a thing there about a time loop, about our character dying and then somehow restarting the loop. I assume they'll find out about that as they would continue on, to find some way to prevent that from happening, maybe. But that's not what we're doing, because we were playing this for an hour, and that hour is done, and that has been our hour. I was a teenage exocolonist.